Graphing systems of linear inequalities. So graphing systems of linear inequalities is similar to graphing systems of equations. You just have now multiple inequalities to put on the same coordinate axis. So here we go. Graph the solution set to the following systems of inequalities. So A, I have y is greater than or equal to 1/2 x minus 4. That's one of the inequalities. And the other one is in point slope form of y minus 3 is less than -2 parentheses x plus 1. So let me graph this first one in blue. So the y-intercept is -4, and the slope's 1/2, so up 1/2. Now it says greater than or equal to that line, so it's going to be a solid line. And I'm going to shade above it because it says greater than or equal to. But I'm going to hold off on the shading for now because I actually need to graph both lines first before I can determine where exactly it needs to be shaded. So now let me graph the second line. That's in point slope form, and the point would be at -1, 3, and the slope is -2. Okay, so -1, 3 is here. The slope is -2, so down 2/1. And since it says less than, but it doesn't say equal to, it's just less than, I'm not going to do a solid line. I'm going to do a dashed line because it can't be equal to the line. Okay, so now both lines are graphed, but the shading is the tricky part. So the question is, where do I shade? Well, it says less than the blue line, right? Or sorry, no, greater than the blue line. Right, greater there, greater than or equal to, greater than the blue line. So I'm going to shade above the blue line. But this red line, it says less than, so I'm going to shade below the red line. So above the blue line and below the red line would be this region in here. You know, there's 4 regions. We had a region here, 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 and here. And the one I highlighted, whoops, let me re-highlight it, is the region that is above the blue line and below the red line. Greater than the blue line, but less than the red line. Let me show you B. So this one says y is less than 3. So that would be a horizontal line at 3. And less than that, so it's not equal to it, so it's going to be a dashed line. I'm going to hold off on the shading. Now the second equation I will do in blue. It's got a y-intercept of -2 and a slope of -1, so down 1/1. Continue that pattern this way. Okay. And it's greater than that line, so it's not equal to another dashed line. Okay, so the green one says y is less than. It says less than. So that means I'm going to shade below the green. And the second one says y is greater than. So I'm going to shade above this one. So below the green, but above the blue, would be this region. So again, below the green, but above the blue would be that region. Show you a couple more. I'll do this one in blue. Now that one's currently in standard form. I'm going to convert it to slope intercept. So let me rewrite it over here. Subtract 4x, -4x plus 12, divide by 3. I would have -4/3 x plus 4. Okay, so 4 would be my y-intercept. -4/3 x, I would go down 4/3, down 4/3. Put another dot there, and it's greater than or equal to, so it's going to be a solid line. And I'm not going to do the shading yet. I'm going to plot the other one. The other one I'll do in red. It's got a y-intercept of -1 and a slope of 1/3. So up 1/3. Continue the pattern here. And this one's also an equal to, so it's also going to be a solid line. So now let's look at the inequality symbols. So for the blue line, it says greater than. So I'm going to shade above the blue. And the red one says less than, so it's going to be below the red. So above the blue and below the red would be here. That's where the solution set is. Let me show you another one. I'll do this one in green. X is less than or equal to -2, so that's going to be a vertical line and a solid one at that because it's equal to -2. Now the second one I'll do in red. It's in standard form, so I'm going to convert it. So I have a 3x minus 2y is greater than 6. Subtract the 3x. I'll have a -3x plus 6. Divide by -2. Now be careful. Remember, when we divide by negative, that symbol switches. So this is going to be less than now. -3 divided by -2, I'm just going to write as +3/2. And then 6 divided by -2 is -3. Okay, so y-intercept's -3. Slope is 3/2, so up 3/2. So we're going to have a dashed line. So on the green, we have x is less than or equal to -2. So that's going to be, remember, you can't go above or below with the x one. So this is less than -2. That's actually going to go to the left. So I'm going to go to the left of this green line. And then less than the red one. So I'm going to go below the red one. This is the region. So less than both of those lines. And in the green's case, it'd be to the left. And less than the red line, in that case, would be below. So we're looking at that region in there. So hopefully those 4 examples were good enough. So I'll let you try the other ones.